Ben, pronouns he, him. A personal experience of the haunting of the Paw Paw Tunnel. I don't know what that is, so you're going to have to explain that to me, Ben. Hey, you're on with Drew and John. How's it going?
It's fine. Yes, the Paw Paw Tunnel was, they said it's cut through like a mountain. It's through rock. It was started in 1838. They didn't complete it until 1850. What it is, it runs parallel. It's a canal that runs parallel to the Potomac River. And they cut through a canal in order to have these boats go through. And to this day, you can walk the tunnel. It's like 3,115 feet. The thing about it, it's pitch dark in there. You need like a flashlight to walk through.
Oh, wow. Okay, and you were going through the tunnel, and you think you saw a ghost or something?
Yes. This is the story. On the way back in the tunnel, because I usually walk a couple of miles once I get out, I turned around, went back, and when I was about 3/4 of the way through, now it's pitch dark. I got a flashlight. I heard like sounds behind me. I just thought it was people. So then I heard some like coins being thrown and some really bizarre kind of sounds. I didn't pay much attention to it, and then it started getting like closer and closer, and I looked behind me and I really couldn't see anything. And if there were people there, they didn't have a flashlight because you can't see anything. So nonetheless, I just kept on walking and walking. I got a little freaked out, but I eventually come out the other end of the tunnel. I ran into a guy that I know who was on a bicycle, and we stopped and we talked for about a good 20 minutes. And he's from that area. So I said to him, "Did you see anybody come out of the tunnel with me?" I said, "They should have just came. There's no other way they can exit without seeing them." He goes, "No." And he goes, "Oh, this place is haunted." Nobody tell you? And so I thought about it. I'm not sure if it's really haunted, but it was a really freaky experience. And people tell me that, "Oh, yeah, you definitely, it's haunted." When they built the tunnel, it was built by a lot of immigrants. And they used to have, I guess, rivalry and fights. And a lot of times people would get killed. They get killed by, they used to use black powder and pick and shovel. A lot of men get killed in explosions and stuff. But a lot of people were killed in fights. Like they used to get drunk and like the Irish would fight against the Germans. So that people say, "Oh, there's a lot of ghosts in there." But I don't know. It was pretty freaky. And the more people I tell, they go, "Oh, yeah, that's absolutely true. That place is haunted." So I just thought I'd tell you that.
Okay, and so how convinced are you? So let's say like on a scale of 0 to 100, how convinced are you that it was a supernatural experience?
Honestly, I'd probably say like a 6.
A 6 out of 100?
Oh, wait, 6 out of 100 or 6 out of 10?
Yeah, 6 out of 10. Okay. Okay. I don't know why I picked 100. Maybe I was just going for like a percentage, maybe. But okay, so 6 out of 10. What would take you to a higher level, and what would bring you down to a lower level? What would let's say what would convince you and make it an 8 out of 10? What would have to happen for you to go, no, that 8 out of 10, that was a ghost?
I would say, the more I think about it and use logic, the more it doesn't sound like it's possible. Yet I had the experience with the sounds behind me and like coins being thrown and there's like water dripping in there and stuff. I would say, looking back on the thing, it could probably be explained, but this is the thing. If there were people behind me in the tunnel and they never came out, then maybe they turned around and went back the other way, like 3,000 feet, and then they come out to a path that there's like no exit out of there. So you just keep walking on this trail that goes on for miles. It's a bicycle route. So,
you didn't happen to that day have some change in your pocket and like you got to the other end of the tunnel and went, "Oh man, I'm sure I had a quarter in here," and then it had mysteriously vanished and maybe fallen out yourself?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, somebody threw wherever it was this coin, or it sounded, it could be like a nail was thrown. Okay. You could hear it echo in the tunnel. No, it wasn't me. I would have like dropped it.
Right.
Heard it.
So a 6 out of 10's like that to me is like it could be, but I'm not really sure. What would bring you down? What would bring you down from a 6?
Bring me down. Um, if those people who were behind me, or if there was no, if they, I can't imagine them staying in there. And because it's like they say, it's wintertime, it's dark and cold in there. I don't know. The only explanation could be they turn around and walk the other way in the darkness and get back on the trail. And then again, there's no place to really get off to come back to a parking lot. All right, so that's one explanation. The other one could be they just stayed in the tunnel. I don't know, longer than 20 minutes. But the thing is, the folklore around this is in West Virginia. It's right on the West Virginia-Maryland line. This Paw Paw Tunnel thing. So the more I think about it, the more I think it was probably there's an explanation for it. But
Right.
the people who live around there goes, oh no, absolutely, there's ghosts in there. I went, well, maybe, I don't know.
Right. Were you going to say something, Drew?
I was just going to say, Ben, I think the beautiful thing of what just happened is I mean, John was great. And I love the number, right. And pick a space and what would it take to convince you all the way? What would it take to bring you down, drop you down a notch? I love that. And that can be a really great, really powerful exercise. And that was fantastic. But what I really love, Ben, is the fact that you were kind of already working through that even before that point. Because I think in your opening setup comments, you had said, maybe the more I think about it, the more it might be explainable by other things. And then just now I heard you say that again just a few moments ago, that, yeah, you know what, the more I think about it, and I love that phrase, the more I think about it. Mm-hmm. To me, I like, you hear of the razor, right? Occam's razor, and looking for the most simple conclusion as we approach different scenarios, challenges, question marks. What's the most simple answer? And so is the most simple answer the fact that, yeah, maybe somebody walked in, turned around, maybe someone's at the edge of the tunnel. I guess I missed exactly how long it is. So maybe that's not very plausible. But if it's possible that you could have heard it from someplace else, an echo, things like this, things you're already thinking about as potential answers. And that's the thing, is we don't need a definite answer. We just start to realize that there's other potential answers that are more simple and do not require the existence of supernatural beings that, hey, we know other people exist. We know other people walk into and out of tunnels. We know, I don't know about you, but sometimes my own mind kind of plays little tricks on me. Maybe that's because I'm just a little fucked up. I go to therapy every week for a reason. Okay. So, sometimes just our own psyche kind of almost plays, I'll say plays tricks on us, right? Where we think we hear or see something and it's like, wait a minute, blink twice. Was it really there? I'm not so sure. We'll see if it comes back. Oh, it didn't. So I like the fact that already, as you're thinking through it more fully, you're seeing other, maybe more, shall I say, more plausible answers that might actually answer it a little more solidly.
Yeah, it was fascinating to witness that.
The reason why I kept on thinking about it, because more people who live in that area are convinced of it. They say it happens all the time, that there's definitely spirits in there. Other people say they think it was demons, but they're gonna follow me home. But whatever. That's the only reason why I gave it a second thought. I would just completely dismissed it. It wasn't for the folklore and the local people.
There's a lot in that, though. If there's a story that a building in the town that you live in is haunted, people have that on their mind, so they're kind of waiting for something to happen. And when if a breeze blows a door ever so slightly, but they've got in their mind this place is haunted, so your brain links it up and goes, well, that must have been what it was, because you've heard that this is what goes on here because of stories that have been passed down. So your brain's just going to fill in the gaps with what it hopes or thinks it already knows. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, powerful suggestion. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, man, I would love it if there was an afterlife. I think a lot of people who don't now believe in it would love for it to be real, because there's people that we've lost and we love and we want to see them again. So I mean, I wish we had some hard evidence that there was something afterwards, but this conversation seemed to just keep me and maybe Drew was on the same place, and maybe even you, Ben, as well. You might be like, yeah, maybe not.
But it is fun to entertain those questions, though, right? I mean, it's folklore. Folklore's it's fun. It's fucking great, right? We like hearing those stories and whatnot. I mean, it's kind of hard not to dive into it. It's kind of almost like the juicy gossip about our family and whatnot, right? You hear something your weird stepsister or your aunt or your great grandpa Joe, I mean, they do this crazy shit that everybody loves talking about. And here's what tends to happen is, at least I think anyway, in my experience, I don't know, I guess I haven't done a scientific study on this, which is an important question to ask in things like this. What has been studied, what hasn't been, right? But it does seem that those stories do tend to evolve and grow and expand. They get more and more juicy each time we tell them, the telephone game. So of course, if that happens with a juicy story about great grandpa Joe, of course it's going to happen with juicy stories about the haunted mansion around the corner.
I think now with all the internet and the crazy times we live in, those stories are more apt to be believed than they used to be, I'd say, in the last few years.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It's a wild thing. So,
yeah, we have a lot more access to information now. So,
I was going to say, I live in an area where it's like Trumpville, and people here I've been shunned. I get shunned. People want, I wave, they just completely ignore me, and this has been going on for a couple of years. I first thought it was my imagination, but yeah, there's definitely some. If people don't, if you're not aboard this this Trump train where I live, people they pretty much just dismiss you.
Right. Well, I'm glad that we managed to talk about your belief there, or we got to dissect what you thought you'd saw. That was entertaining for us. Yeah. So I appreciate you calling in with that, Ben.
Okay. Well, thanks for letting me call, and you guys take care.
No worries.
Great
Thank you.
With you, Ben.
Take care.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Oh, that was fun. I enjoyed that one.
Fun.
That was nice. I like some supernatural stuff.
I love the fact that he came to the conclusion essentially on his own, right? I mean,
we just sat back and watched that happen.
Yeah, that was great.
It was great.
Love it.